What is up, geeks? So today I have a very special review, and this is the Marvel Captain America Civil War 4-pack, including Captain America and Iron Man keychains, pop vinyl keychains, and then we have the regular size pop vinyls for Hawkeye and Spider-Man, who has the Captain America shield in that awesome pose. So he's primarily the reason I got this. I originally thought this was a Marvel Collector Core exclusive, but I was excited to see this in Toys R Us, so I had to pick it up. It was the last one. I got really lucky. So, yeah, let's take a look at the packaging first of all. I love how in the bottom here we have nice, we have nice images of Cap, Iron Man, Hawkeye, and Spidey. They look really cool. Nice, like typical Funko window packaging. Looking really great. And then we have all the names here. We got 2 names here, and then I'm assuming on this side we have Hawkeye and Spider-Man. And then in the back we have also all those images from the Marvel Civil War line. So we have Cap, Iron Man, Falcon, War Machine, Winter Soldier, Black Panther, who I've reviewed, so if you haven't seen that, please check that out. We have Agent 13, Black Widow, Scarlet Witch, Crossbones, and Giant Man. So it's a big wave. But Giant Man I also reviewed, so please check that out. So Giant review, 6-inch figure. And of course, again, images of all these 4 pop vinyls that you get. And so these are called Pocket Pop keychains. So these are going to be the first Pocket Pop keychains that I have in my collection. So that's pretty exciting. Then at the top, again, we have nice images of these 4 characters. And so let's unbox this and get a closer look of each figure. Alright, so we got these guys out of the packaging. And I have to say, these guys look really great. The paint and everything is just looking so clean. I really picked out a very good set of pop vinyls here. They're all in good condition. So we're going to break down each one of these pop vinyls, starting first with Hawkeye. Now, he's in the front. I staggered them just because the big issue with this Hawkeye, I don't know if it's just my pop vinyl or it's going to be all of the Hawkeye pop vinyls in this 4-pack, but he cannot stand for anything. I mean, he has this weird pose. I mean, it looks kind of cool, but you can already tell that the legs are not lined up. One is in front of the other, which shouldn't necessarily be a problem, but the way that they pivoted his ankle here does not support that weight, and so he falls. So I'm just gonna have to lean him up against something because he can't stand on his own, unfortunately. But as far as the figure, look at those eyes. It's very clean. The eyebrows looking very nice. His hair, I love his hairstyle and the texture in his hair. They got the colors right. He is a bit on the tanner side, but I mean, I'm not going to complain about that. His arrow is a little bit bent, so, warping in the packaging. Also, just warping in general because of the way his hands are positioned. But I have to say that, look at that texture over there. It looks really great. All this paint here, all the different kinds of purple, the shades of purple, they got that really good. I really love how this paint job turned out. You can definitely see how great and clean the paintwork is, and I have to say I'm really very satisfied at least with that, even though that they could have done a lot better with structuring his legs so that way he can stand, because that's really important, especially because these don't have stands. These are not like the Star Wars figures, and these are bobbleheads, so when they move around it can make them even more unsteady. And so unfortunately this Hawkeye is going to have to lean up against something, which definitely limits the way that I can display him. So that's basically it for Hawkeye. Now I'm going to save Spidey for last. Let's go to these keychains here. We have the Iron Man Pocket Pop keychain. And so these pop keychains actually have articulation, so I was surprised to see that. Now they don't have 360 rotation, and these are, they're a bit wobbly rather than bobbly because they don't really stay positioned in the center and move around. They're kind of just like leaning depending on where gravity kind of shifts the head. And so that's pretty cool. And it seems like they're pretty, I mean, they would be fragile if you try to like rip their heads apart, but if you drop these should be able to stay together. Otherwise, these are just like smaller versions of the bigger pops. You can see they basically have the same structure, same sculpt work, but the paint jobs are just a little bit sloppier. You can even see here, I can't really go in too close, but you can already tell that the paint job is a bit sloppy here in the back. The golds and the silvers are mixed up, but the red paint job does stand out just like in the pop vinyl, and it looks pretty good, and they did good with the eyes. I mean, at least get the eyes right and get it you know, all perfect with that clean paint job. Otherwise the whole figure, I think, looks pretty sloppy. I think the eyes are really the key when it comes to pop vinyls. But otherwise, this is a pretty cool Iron Man keychain. I'm probably going to keep it. It looks pretty nice. And let's go to Cap. So Cap looks good too. They did good with the A and the eyes, of course, looking clean. And as far as the rest of the paint job, I can't complain too much. I see in the shield here, there's a bit of a little blob of paint. I don't know if you can see that here in the video. There's a bit of a blob of paint. But I'm surprised at how clean the lines are for the shield and the star. That's very good on their part. And everything else is not too bad. I think the Iron Man is a little bit more sloppy than this one. But this one looks very good. And there's just like a bit of weird texturing there on the helmet from the paint. But otherwise, this thing looks pretty great too. And I am a Cap fan. If I had to choose between Cap and Iron Man, I love them both, but I do love Cap, and I'm definitely excited to have this keychain. So last but not least, certainly not least, is the reason why I picked up this 4-pack, and it is for Spidey. So I'm loving the Tom Holland version of Spidey, this MCU version. Now, we know that his eyes articulate in the movie. Obviously, they can't do that in this figure, but they chose to go with like a medium-sized eye rather than a small squinting eye or the large eye when he, you know, gets surprised or something like that, or when we saw Giant Man turn into Giant Man, you know. So here we have the shield, and it is removable, which is cool. Now it's easily removable, which is the only thing, you know, so if you drop this, the shield will definitely fall off, or if you move it around too much. But it's not too bad. I like how it is removable. That prevents it from breaking. So it's better that it gets removed than break off the figure. And so the paint job's pretty clean. And yeah, so you just have to position it here on his wrist. But before we do that, let's just take a look at all of the sculpt work here for the web lines. So they decided to sculpt out those lines here. You can even see it more vividly here on his mask, and so they did pretty well with that. Now his back spider, they did good with that paint job there. Now for Spider-Man Homecoming, what's interesting is that this back spider is going to be sculpted out, or it should be when they make the pop vinyl, because it's a bit more it's not the same level as the rest of the suit as far as we've seen in the behind the scenes images. So that'll be interesting. But I like all these black bands here. Looks pretty good. Then we even see his web shooter, which they sculpted out, which is cool. You can see it right there. The silver web shooter. That looks pretty good. And the blue and the red colors look pretty accurate to the movie. And his front spider looks great too. And they sculpted that one out. And they could have gone away with not sculpting that one, because in the movie it's not sculpted out, but they decided to, and it's pretty clean. It's not too bad, but it probably would have looked cleaner if they just painted it. Otherwise, the pose for Spidey is perfect. Now, unfortunately, this pose does not exist in the movie as far as I know. When he had the Captain America shield, we all know what pose he was in. But I really like this pose though, so I'm not going to complain. It's a really cool pose, and definitely something you need to pick up if you're a Spidey fan. He just looks so great. I mean, he's really the reason I got this 4-pack, and this 4-pack is 25 bucks. I'm so excited to display this Spidey, and the rest of these figures are very good, so I definitely recommend this. And of course, these Pocket Pop keychains, I'm sure will get more popular. Just Funko is just ruling the world and doing so many great things, and there's so many great lines that they've picked up now from Power Rangers. You know, I'm very excited for the Power Rangers figures, and so if you guys want me to review those, I can review those. I mean, I've seen so many great lines done so well. Even the Sesame Street stuff is done pretty good, and they're flocked and all that stuff. It's just Funko is doing great, and you can expect a lot more Funko Pop vinyl reviews from the channel, guys. And please sound off below whether you want me to do a live stream for Star Wars Battlefront, because as you guys know, Cloud City has been released, and so I could do a live stream for you guys. And of course, if you want more pop vinyl reviews, just sound off below which ones you would like to see. And I have a lot more pop vinyls to review, especially when the Batman vs Superman DVD comes out. I have that 2-pack of Batman and Superman, and also I have Suicide Squad pop vinyl, so stay tuned for that as Suicide Squad comes out soon. So there's so much stuff, guys, a lot more to review, so thank you guys for your support. Until next time, embrace, express, and enjoy yourself. May the Force be with you always, my young Padawan.